basically the question is, how do you understand your calling as a woman to ministry? And ultimately, bottom line is, I don't think my calling is any different from any man's in this room.
Louisiana College held its annual C3 conference on October 20th, and speakers tackled the topic of the role of women in today's church. Victoria Dixon, a recent LC graduate who is pursuing her Master's of Divinity at New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary, spoke on the unique challenges of serving God as a young woman in today's culture.
I think just like anyone else is called to a ministry or to a vocation, whether that's in the church or outside of the church, ultimately the Lord is tugging at your heart, telling you to do something, and you're walking in obedience in that.
Dr. Marvin Jones, LC's C3 coordinator, said the topic of women's role in ministry is at the forefront of our Christian culture and our secular culture right now, and is why it was chosen for this year's conference. This year's other speakers were Jess Archer and Dr. Amanda Walker. Archer, who works in children's and youth missions for the Louisiana Baptist Convention, spoke on her journey as a woman in a male-dominated field. Archer said Jesus ministered to many women in the New Testament.
I think there are many places that women can serve on church staff, and Jesus shows us in the scripture, and we see women in the Old Testament and New Testament that give awesome examples.
He loved them and gave them all a role to fill in the kingdom. Walker, an LC alumna, has been in the ministry for 20 years. She has been involved with teaching women theological truths for their personal growth. She spoke on the biblical role of women in ministry. She has been involved with teaching women theological truths for their personal growth. She spoke on the role of women in ministry.
If you have a theology that prevents you from listening to and respecting women as leaders, then you have a faulty theology. And if you have a theology that prevents you from listening and respecting men as spiritual leaders, then you have a faulty theology.
All speakers have had different journeys in life, whether it be as a mother, student, or a woman ministering in a male-dominated field. All spoke to God's guidance and leading them to where they are and looking forward to where they will end up. The 3C Seminar is an annual event begun by President Rick Brewer to provide the campus community opportunity to discuss the great issues of today through the lens of biblical truth. For Wildcats Media, I'm Alena Noakes.